Alright, so I'm Ryan, otherwise known as the man in his music, and today I'm going to do the Jazz Vinyl Tag 2024 created by Rob over at The Waxed on YouTube. I'll link him in the description below, as well as the Jazz Bums too, because I thought their video was amazing, and it kind of gave me the gumption to record this video, but just record a YouTube video in general because I hadn't really been feeling the greatest because I had gotten tinnitus in early December, and then I also had started with vertigo maybe a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago now, and I tried, getting appointments and everything because I really hadn't been feeling too great because of that. Tinnitus is like the ringing of the ears, and vertigo is, where you're dizzy, and I had it constantly, like it was consistent, so I was not feeling too great. I tried to get an ENT appointment near me, but the earliest they could get me in was like February, which was too far out. So I found an ENT in Salisbury, Maryland, and they got me in. So my next appointment there is on Thursday, and I'm taking my MRI scan there, and they'll take a look at that and see if there's anything going on serious. Because I didn't listen to music up loud, or I didn't have anything that would cause, damage to my eardrums. They said my eardrums look fine, nothing that would have done that. So whatever it's caused it is inside my head, or just going on in my body or whatever. So don't want to get too far into that because thinking about it kind of elevates the ring. But I'll just go ahead with the first one. Which is Show a Jazz album that you received as a VCLT. And I didn't really know what that meant, I guess, because I'm not too big on, the terms in the community and all that. But for anybody out there that was also wondering, it means Vinyl Community Love Train. So, just sending people things, swapping things back and forth. So this first one I got here is Lee Morgan Volume 3, sent to me by Ilya Pisman. Probably one of my real good friends that I've met through YouTube, but also Instagram, because I think he reached out to me on there, and he seems to be a wealth of knowledge too as well. Some of the stuff that we've talked about, I remember I mentioned a Johnny Mercer 10-inch that I had, and he sent me the link to a source page that had like the other 3 volumes to it, and now I've since been looking for those. So, he's just an awesome person in the community, and it's definitely pretty easy to see that, he's had a great impact on, a lot of people, like Trent. I hear him talking about him all the time. So thank you, Ilya Pisman, for this, as well as Clifford Brown with Strings, probably one of my favorite, well, by far my favorite trumpet records of all time, and I think this would probably come second to that. So super happy to have that in my collection. And I also have another one. I'm going to cheat just like the Jazz Bums did. This one is from Donovan. I'm Hard for Hard Bop. I'll link him in the description too below. Probably my greatest friend that I've met on YouTube and Instagram and all that. We definitely have clicked so much, within the past maybe 2 years, I'd say. And we had been swapping records back and forth. Nothing too crazy, just, records probably below like, maybe below like $50 or $40. So this was one that he had sent me, and this is probably my favorite of the ones that he sent me. I sent him a lot of, Coltrane, stuff that he didn't really have on the West Coast, and he sent me a lot of stuff that I didn't have here on the East Coast. And, this is pretty self-explanatory. You don't really see a lot of Art Pepper albums over here on the East Coast. And this one is Art Pepper Plus 11, has a lot of different compositions. I think it's got Duke Ellington, Gillespie, Monk, Rollins. Actually, no Duke Ellington. I guess it's just, a few of the more smaller group kind of artists. So super happy with that. Also, I thought it was super neat to see that the original owner, or whoever had this, had cut out some stuff out of Downbeat and taped it in there. So it was pretty cool to read. And Donovan didn't tell me about that, so when I and pulled the inner sleeve out, I, was met with a nice surprise. And then I also have another one from Donovan that I want to show, because it's kind of hard to, pick and choose which ones were my favorite VCLTs. It says show a jazz album that you received as a VCLT, but I received a bunch, and I want to, just kind of share the love and let them know, how grateful I was that they sent me these records. So this is the Jazz Organs by Jack Wilson. And, most people know Jack Wilson as a piano player, but on here he's playing an organ with, I think he's playing with another guy, too. Yeah, Henry Kane, who I'm not familiar with. But this record is on Vault. And it's got a really awesome version of My Favorite Things. But it's kind of short. I wish it was kind of dragged on a little bit, maybe like 3 minutes would be cool, but I think it's like 2 minutes and some seconds, probably like 10 or 15 seconds. So the next one is show a jazz album you have in both stereo and mono. And I have a bunch of copies of Meditations, but I have a stereo original. Well, actually I have a mono original here. This is when they had the suffix here. And it's like a rather clean copy. It's like about VG plus, has some staining on the sleeve. I think I got that maybe 3 years ago now. Maybe not. I can't really remember it, to be honest. And then this is my stereo promo original that I've got. And this is super, super clean. I think I got this sometime last year, maybe late 2022. And it's super clean, both the disc and the sleeve. I mean, I'll pull it out just so you can kind of get a look at that. Just spotless. I don't think I've ever seen a cleaner Coltrane promo. Although it does have one spot where the lamination kind of lifted up on the jacket. But I try not to gripe too much about that. Also, because I got this for like $40 when it popped up on eBay. The next one is show a jazz album that you have an OG and a reissue of. So, I think I featured this in my first jazz vinyl tag that I did. Mobley's Message. This is my original that I got from an antique store in Texas, late 2022. So, basically an early Christmas gift, I guess. Super clean, except the jacket maybe might be VG. It's got somebody's name written on it, Abe Brooks. I have a few other records that was in his collection too. So got that, and then I also got the Analog Productions reissue. Although it's the recent repress, so it doesn't have the deep groove that they were doing, which I'm not. It's not an early pressing, so I don't, there's no reason to complain about not having a deep groove on this. But I was really impressed with this, and I just wanted to kind of have them both, with each other, because, I mean, I think this album is super expensive now. It's like close to $1,000, maybe it might be more now. So I don't want to be spending this too much if I can help it. So I bought this one to kind of, spin more often, because this is an album that I favor. It's definitely my top 5 in my collection. Although not the reissue, just the original. So the next one is show a jazz album by an artist not known for being a jazz performer. And this one is Willie Nelson's Stardust. Stardust, written by Hoagy Carmichael. This is a great album. Cheap Heat too, although there is another question here for Cheap Heat. This has got Georgia on My Mind, another Hoagy Carmichael song, Blue Skies, All of Me, Unchained Melody, September Song, On the Sunny Side of the Street, Moonlight in Vermont, Don't Get Around Much Anymore, Someone to Watch Over Me. So a lot of, jazz-oriented tracks written by Hoagy Carmichael, Duke Ellington, tracks that were recorded by legendary jazz artists such as Billie Holiday, pop contemporaries such as, Frank Sinatra and stuff like that. So next one I got is Show a Jazz album that was initially shelved and issued on vinyl many years after its recording. So here I got Blue World by John Coltrane. It was originally recorded for a French movie, so it did release. So I guess, this might be a cheat here. It was released under like Le Chant Dan Le Sac or something, which meant The Cat in the Bag, which I don't know too much about, because you can't watch the movie, I guess, because you got to be on a VPN to get over to like France or something like that to watch it, because I think when I had tried, it said that it was unavailable in the United States or something like that. So it was originally recorded for that movie, or I think it might have been a short film, but then it was released on vinyl years later. I did see a short clip of the movie in, I forget which Coltrane documentary it was. I don't think it was Chasing Train. I think it might have been like one from the 90s or something. The World of Coltrane or something like that. So this next one I got is Show a Jazz album that was issued as a private pressing. So this one is the Delaware Heritage Concert, a live jazz concert by the Black Star Ensemble. And I had been after this for a super long time, and I got it last year. I lost so many auctions trying to grab this. But the main reason I wanted it, well, the two main reasons I wanted it, I guess, is it was recorded about like half an hour from me. So, sentimental value, I guess. But also, this album features Clifford Brown's first recorded by his teacher, Orthonology, which, by Charlie Parker. It's a 3-minute version, and it's amazing. Although you can kind of hear the acetate in the background on here. But it was recorded by Robert Boise Lowry, who was a pretty famous teacher here in Delaware back in, the 40s and 50s and maybe 60s, I'd say. I think he had a pretty big presence here in Delaware, even in, the 70s, which is when this live concert was recorded. And I think I've said it before on another YouTube video that this concert here reminds me of like a black jazz release, or it does have Marcus Belgrave, so Gemini, that stuff is kind of going on here, that feel that they kind of had. So the next one is Show a Jazz album that is an excellent introduction to free jazz, avant-garde, or spiritual jazz. And I thought, why not start with Alice Coltrane's first album on Impulse? Not her first appearance, because you got Coltrane, and then you also got the Terry Gibbs stuff. But this is the first spiritual of her own, solo works. Although it is with the group, because she did, of course, a lot of spiritual stuff with Coltrane. Although I think my favorite would probably be Stellar Regions. I think I've probably said that numerous times. But you get such a deep, feel for her playing style throughout this album. A lot of, nice, deep, low note tracks. It's kind of hard to explain. I think my favorite song on here is probably I Want to See You. And then, any Coltrane album, it doesn't matter, Alice or, John, they're going to be excellent introductions to spiritual jazz, avant-garde. So, you don't even have to start with this one, but I just think, why not start with her first self-titled on, well, not her self-titled, but her first album on Impulse. So the next one is Show a Jazz album that is an example of Cheap Heat, and it's another Alice Coltrane album with Carlos Santana, Illuminations. I got this promo for like $13 on eBay, like including shipping, and it's near mint all around. It's only got the cutout here, so I thought that was, you know, a sick deal. And I've also mentioned this to some of my friends in the community, you know, to grab this because it's cheap and, you know, it's pretty nice record. And but it was released on the, I think in my opinion, the crappy Columbia pressings. Those I think they call it, is it maroon, or I forget what, there's like a term for this color label. I don't think it's a color. I think it's like a I don't even know. But next one is show a jazz album you're looking forward to being reissued in 2024. Sonny Rollins live with A Night at the Village Vanguard, 1581. There's also a volume 2 of this, I think, but this one is pretty popular in the community. I think that there was a classic series, or maybe like a 75th pressing a long time ago, but I think they're going to do a Tone Poet or some special release for this, like a deluxe edition, because I seen a post on Instagram, I think it was by Blue Note Vinyl Spinner, who it was weird because he kind of announced things on Blue Note's behalf, so I didn't really understand it, but I think he announced the fact that there was going to be a deluxe edition for this, and then also that there was going to be like a Lee Morgan box set, like the Blue Note review thing, so I think that'll be pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to both of those actually, but this is the record that I have here to show for number 9. Then number 10, a jazz album which you consider being a grail that you picked up in 2023. So, you know, I've talked about this a lot since I've gotten it, but I got a promo mono original of Coltrane Live at Birdland, my favorite album of all time. My favorite track of all time is I Want to Talk About You, and luckily I got this near mint. It's perfect all around, spotless. I think, you know, maybe there's a few marks on the cover that I could kind of complain about, but no need for me to go look for another one or anything like that. But with this I also got the rest of that live set recorded on October 8th, 1963. So you got like Training In, Lonnie's Lament, and then Mr. PC, which was also recorded like right after that those songs got done with, which I thought was kind of weird that Impulse never like did a deluxe like 2 LP set for that night. But it does kind of make sense because I can't remember Impulse doing any like double LP sets back in the mid 60s, early 60s. I think it was like till they got to that Red Ring that they started doing those, so maybe that might be a reason for it, I'm not sure, but I picked up the CD for that. I think that's called I'll grab it here just in case anybody's curious. Unreleased Live at Berlin 1963, and the date for this is October 10th, but it's not October 10th, and it's incorrectly stated on here because I think October 10th, that was the end of the Birdland appearance for Coltrane, like his stint there that he had that month. I think he had like another night at somewhere else, which, you know, explain why that also followed up. And if you look at the liner notes, well, not the liner notes, but the box, the reel-to-reel, there's a picture of it in the Coltrane reference guide. I'm not going to open it up in here because that'd be a lot to kind of find and go through. But on the reel-to-reel tape, on the box, it's written under the name of the tracks and stuff, and you can see like the timings and all that. So that adds to, you know, the original album. So I like to pop it in right after I finish listening to that. So anyway, that's my Jazz Vinyl Tag 2024. I could not have done this maybe a couple weeks ago. I was just not feeling up to it. I wanted to do, you know, maybe recent jazz vinyl finds or get into Coltrane a lot more, because I had initially planned on doing, you know, particular dates and stuff like that, but I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't feeling good. So hopefully now I can kind of come around back to this, because I think since I had gotten the tinnitus, I've only listened to about 3 or 4 records. I've mostly been streaming CDs. Well, not streaming Spotify, and then listening to CDs that I've uploaded on iTunes. But I'll get into that maybe in my next video, what I've been listening to and going for on, you know, eBay and stuff. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and then also remind everybody to check out Donovan's channel, and then Rob's channel, and the Jazz Bums, which I'll link in the description below. I'm pretty sure that everybody's checked them out before, if you're watching me at least. So anyway, thank you.